Hello and welcome to the first of many small lecture assignments focusing on various aspects of the American style. Our first lecture will focus on the concept of new beginnings as it works itself out in the historical tradition of the Oglala Lakota, a North American tribe living in the area of South Dakota at the time of the arrival of the European colonists. Hopefully you have had a chance to print out the outlines that cover this lecture. They will be useful for you to help you follow along as we discuss the topic of new beginnings. You should also note that several links are provided in this module that will link you to information on the Lakota creation story, the white buffalo calf woman, and the ghost dance, which are the three topics also covered in this lecture. Historians tell us that the Lakota first lived in the lands actually east of the Dakotas, but migrated to the rich lands of South Dakota after receiving the horse from the Spanish gave them a competitive advantage. This is an image of the Black Hills of South Dakota. From the point of view of the Lakota's own creation story, this is their place of origin. The original and highest notion of God for the Lakota is Wakantanka. Wakantanka has no manifest form. He is not directly observable or knowable by humans. But a second god, stone or Inyan, is the manifest form of Wakantanka. Originally stone was soft in nature and all-powerful, but stone wanted a place to indwell, a manifestation of himself upon which he could act and with whom he could relate. For this reason stone opened his veins and sacrificed a part of himself. That sacrificial part became Maka, or Mother Earth. As you might have guessed, the blood of Inyan was of the color blue. When his blood ran out, it created the waters, but the power from the waters rose up to the heavens and created the blue dome known as sky. In Lakota mythology, sky is also a god. Sky is known as Skan. But Mother Earth is said to have been unhappy with creation as it stood. It was too dark, and so Mother Earth entreated Inyan, stone, to banish the darkness and bring the light. But Inyan was no longer the all-powerful god that he had been. Inyan had sacrificed his power when he created the earth and the sky. His soft form had become hardened, and his power had flown from his blood to the waters and up to the sky. For this reason it was Sky who was now required to be the active creator. To please Mother Earth, Sky banished darkness to the underworld, but now Mother Earth was again unhappy. She complained that it was too dark and too cold. To fix this problem, Sky created the sun, or we, from pieces of the earth, stone, and sky. He told the sun to follow the darkness into the underworld, and henceforth the day would be shared between a period of darkness and cold and a period of light and heat. These gods also got together and created some lesser deities to help them populate the earth with plants and animals. Peace, for example, was created by sky. Wisdom was a god created by stone. Wind was created by sky to act as his messenger. Thunderstorm was created by sky and hidden in the clouds. Hopefully you can see why it makes sense that wind and thunderstorm might be appointed to populate the earth with plants and animals. Even today we see that wind spreads seeds while thunderstorms allow those seeds to generate, and the plants and water allow animals to survive on the earth's soil. Hopefully you can see as well that the world created in this way would be a sort of paradise, a well-ordered, balanced, and harmonious place. After all, the earth was created by gods who themselves were created from that highest god, Wakantanka. God's spirit was therefore present in all of nature. In addition, peace and wisdom were seen as principles actually involved in creating the earth. So the resultant paradisical nature of the earth should be of no surprise. So this new beginning was very hopeful. But things did not stay blissful for human beings or the earth. Humans themselves are not always peaceful, and they do not always live in harmony with the patterns of nature. And according to the Lakota story, it was precisely a failure to live in harmony with nature and the spirits that resulted in a great famine across the land. People were starving. The buffalo were no longer to be found. Food and clothing and shelter were all lacking. In this time of crisis, two brave hunters were out at the outskirts of their hunting grounds, looking for food when they spotted a cloud descending from the sky. As they got closer, the cloud turned into a white buffalo, and then it turned into a divine woman, referred to hence as the white buffalo calf woman. One of the hunters saw the beautiful woman and had lustful thoughts for her in his heart. When he reached out to touch her, he was immediately covered by a dark cloud, and then snakes writhed around his flesh, devoured it, leaving nothing but bones. Seeing this, the second hunter bowed to worship her. The white buffalo calf woman told the second hunter to tell the people that she would return to the Lakota in 4 days, and that she would bring rituals that would bring healing to the people and the land. She returned in 4 days, and she brought many rituals, such as the Vision Quest, the Sweat Lodge, and the Sacred Pipe. The Lakota were told that when they performed these ceremonies in the appropriate way, that they would restore harmony to the people and to the land, and that the people and the land would again prosper. Each of these ceremonies involved setting the people right with themselves, with the gods, and also with nature. But this last example of a mythological new beginning did not create a state which was to last forever either. Our last story of new beginnings in the Lakota tradition is one that has a tragic ending. As the newly arrived white European Americans made their way west, they displaced the Lakota and other Native American tribes as well. The tribes were relegated to reservations where they had little land and few resources. Many aspects of their culture, such as their religion and the sacred ceremonies, were forbidden. Even their languages were often outlawed. Many people starved as resources were denied to the natives in favor of offering support for the encroaching European Americans. In this climate, a new story of new beginnings began to circulate. The story was that if the people would refrain from violence, dance the ghost dance, and trust in the coming Indian Messiah, that Messiah, who had once appeared to the white man, would return to set things right now for the Native Americans. The stolen land would be returned to the native peoples. The whites would be expunged. The dead Lakota would rise again to live with the people. When the army found out about the ghost dance as it was being practiced by the Lakota, they became very afraid that the excitement would result in an armed rebellion by the Lakota people. The dance was forbidden, but the Lakota continued to dance. Eventually, army interference in the dance resulted in a massive slaughter of the Lakota at the infamous Battle of Wounded Knee. Famous Lakota holy man Black Elk recalls the tragic situation he witnessed after the massacre of Wounded Knee and the final end of the ghost dance. In his autobiography, Black Elk speaks, "I did not know then how much was ended. When I look back now from this high hill of my old age, I can still see the butchered women and children lying heaped and scattered all along the crooked gulch, as plain as I saw them with my eyes still young. And I can see that something else died there in the bloody mud, and was buried in a blizzard. A people's dream died there. It was a beautiful dream. And I, to whom so great a vision was given in my youth, you see me now a pitiful old man who has done nothing. For the nation's hoop is broken and scattered. There is no center any longer, and the sacred tree is dead."